Hello, hello. How are you? Let me know when you're on. Make sure to say hello. I'm Teresa with Teresa Rene Art. Hope you're doing well. Sue, I got my glasses. They're on my head. I put them on my head as soon as you texted me this morning. So thank you. And yes, you were right. I was just scrolling on Facebook, oblivious. Hello, everybody. If you're watching on replay, it helps us if you will comment. You can just type in hashtag replay just so we know you were here, and feel free to ask questions as we go. You guys, this is a less formal format than the Pentart 101 series was. We're just doing projects and catching up and having some fun, and we'll see where it takes us today. I promised that I was going to do some red glaze paste today, so I've got a project lined up using red glaze paste. I think it's going to be very cool. Hello, Dana. Hi, Regine. Hi, Andrea. Hi, Sheila. Hi, Denise. Hello. Hi, Cindy. If I missed you, wasn't intentional. Hi, Sheila. Welcome in. Come on, make yourselves comfortable. We're gonna be right around an hour today. I think it's not a super complicated project. We're going to be using a base from Handcrafted Holiday Traditions. We're going to be using a stencil from Avetta Design. This is a Decoupage Queen stencil. This is DQST0027. It's these beautiful roses. We're going to be using that. We are going to be using Red Roses and Birds. This print, we're going to be using Red Roses and Birds, and also Roberta's. This is her Roberta Marron Atelier de Vidi. We're going to be using this one, both in A4, and then a Handcrafted Holiday Traditions plaque. I don't know what this one is. I don't know the number of this one because I accidentally threw the packaging away. But if one of my friends wants to go look for it and put the number in, that would be great. Or if you're a retailer and you have this and can share what number it is, that would be awesome as well. But this is a plaque. It is about 11 inches by, 8 inches. So it's 11 by 8. It is a beautiful MDF plaque. So we're going to be making a sweet little Valentine's project. So what I did, we're going to be doing a clay heart. We're making a clay heart, which I've already made. I made one last night, but I'm going to make it again so you guys can see what I did. Super easy, using Jovi clay or whatever clay you have. Totally easy. All right, let me share my screen. Sorry, let me turn my camera down. I do have a little bit of a mess on my desk, which I will clean up here. But all right, so what I did, you guys, is let me put these off to the side. I made this heart. And I got it ready last night, and today it's mostly dry, but I just made it with clay, and I stamped into it. So I took this IOD stamp. I have no idea what it's called. You could literally use any, like the kindest regards or any kind of impression, any stamp that makes an impression that you like, just stamp it on there. That's what I did. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to use the kindest regards stamp though for the next one. And then I took this, which is it's a box. It's a nested box. And I just kind of made the shape of a heart in my clay. So I'm going to do one for you, and then we'll go ahead and we'll use the dry one for our project today. And then I can do something else with this other heart. So let me, this is my roller. my daughter got into some of my clay stuff, and I haven't found a couple of critical things that I need. For example, my clay roller, I don't know where it's at. So I'm going to have to improvise and use the side of, this is what I used last night, the side of my crystal pen. So I'm just using Jovi clay, just a chunk of it, you guys. And I'm going to roll it around to make it warm. Thank you. It's PLA 0024. It's the MDF large plaque with a center overlay. That's what I'm using. Okay, so you want to warm up your clay, and I'm just sort of rolling it into a ball and squishing it to get it a little bit pliable. Thank you, Sue. Retailers, if you have these items that I've shown and talked about so far, feel free to share your links. You know, it doesn't have to be an IOD stamp. It can literally be any stamp that's large enough to cover the surface area of your heart. Just wanted to add for a little bit of background texture and dimension is the idea. So I thought that little, if anybody knows what the one I used is called, feel free to share what that one is called. I think it's some sort of, I think is it like arabesque or I don't know. It's got all kinds of similar patterns in it. I don't know what this one is called, but if any of you do, feel free to share it. Or if you have that stamp, I don't even know, it might be retired. I don't know. All right, so I'm just using my little, normally you'd want like a proper clay roller. I'm at about 1/4 of an inch thick here. All right. And now I feel like that's pretty good. Let me just lay my heart over it. Yep, that's going to cover the whole thing. Okay, so now I'm going to take this one. This is the Kindest Regards stamp that's got just all this beautiful text on it. And I want to just smush that in. If you did find that you have a clay roller, another good way to do that is to take your clay roller over the top and smush it in. You want to get a really good impression the first time you do it. You don't want to have to keep laying it down and going over and over. So just make sure you're getting a really good impression. All right, and that looks pretty good to me. And now I'm going to take my heart and I'm just laying that out, and it's almost like a cookie cutter that I'm using. If you have a cookie cutter, you could freehand it too, but I just happen to have this particular heart box shape that I thought would be kind of perfect. And then I'm going to take my little palette knife and just kind of cut around that perimeter so I can free it from its clay. I have a silicone mat here, and that's when you're working with clay like this, like rolling it out, a silicone mat is nice because it will help it to stay nice and flat. And then when you go to pick it up off of your piece, when it's dry the next day, it's not going to stick or anything. And it's easy to clean. Okay. So then you might just take another clay tool and kind of burnish the edge. But that's a really simple way just to make a fun textured heart. I had even kind of played around with the idea of taking this whole heart now and then gluing it to the top of the box and then doing something kind of fun with that. So actually, why don't we go ahead and do that? Because I think that's pretty cool. And then I'll have another project for Valentine's Day that I can work on. with my little heart-shaped box. It is going to shrink a little bit. So what I'll probably do once it's dry is come around and finish the edge off with a little border mold. So it may even shrink up to like a 1/4 inch around the sides here. So, you know, you could sort of press the edges down if you didn't want that, but I do want to come back in after and then come in with a border mold and finish off really seamlessly around the edges of this box. Okay, so that's how I made my heart. Super simple. And then I did it last night and I just let it dry. All right. Yep, any kind of roller will work. They make clay rollers, but any kind of rolling pin or whatever will work fine. If you don't have one, just use your hands and smush it down. No biggie. Okay. Let's clean this up. We're done with the clay for now. That's all we're going to do with clay. What I need to do now is let's clean up some of this excess. Put that up to the side. The silicone mats clean so easy too. This is like a cooking mat, but I use it for clay projects and like pouring epoxy because the epoxy won't stick to it either. Okay, so let's get our handcrafted holiday traditions piece and let's go ahead and prime this. I'm going to use, actually, I think I'm going to use acrylic primer today. Let's see. Here's my acrylic primer. Just kind of a white painting primer. So I'm going to use this one, acrylic primer. Just want it to be white before I start any decoupage or further painting. So this is a really nice, it's almost like a paint, you guys. This is a really nice, just basic white primer that goes on really smooth, doesn't leave behind any texture. Unlike the gesso that we used last week, the gesso is more like a paste, which you can use on glass, metal. You can use it on wood. I could have painted with it too, but it would be better if I watered it down if I wanted to achieve like a really smooth surface with it. So this is just more, it acts more like a paint. Okay. So I'm just going to paint my MDF. Hi, Janie. Yeah, I kind of keep it handy just for like clay projects, is particularly if, you know, I'm working at a table and I want to do my work at one table and then move it somewhere else. So I'll just pick up the whole mat and move it to another table to let it dry. So. All right. You guys, so let me tell you about a couple things while I have you. Number one, I shared a post this morning, you guys, and you all know by now because I've talked about it as much as every opportunity that I get, that I've been taking portrait classes with a gentleman named Arthur Gain. So I started with his boot camp last year. This was 2024. I had dabbled around with acrylic portraits, but I had never painted an oil portrait in my life. And I had always wanted to. And so I decided that I was going to give it a shot. And I did. And I'm going to show you guys the first oil portrait that I ever painted from his class. Let me show it to you. So this was my very first portrait that I painted. This is a copy after John Singer Sargent. This was a class exercise that we did in class. And the very first lesson, he taught us how to blend skin tones, taught us how to make them look realistic on skin, taught us how to, which way to work from darkest areas to lightest areas, and then how to shade for shadows, and just like really, you break it down and you break it down into basics, right? And that's what he does. He breaks it down into basics. But he is doing another portrait boot camp, same one I took last year, but different subject matter. I've signed up again because you can never get enough practice. And I'm also now an affiliate with him. So if you are interested in the portrait painting boot camp and you want to learn how to do this, you can use my link to sign up for his. It's a 6-week workshop. It starts in March. You will have to buy some oil paints, but I would recommend waiting to buy anything until he publishes the materials list, because there are some specific things that you would need to buy. If you're serious about pursuing oil painting, in my opinion, there's no better person to learn from. So that's my little plug for Arthur's class, and you can paint with me. So yeah, I signed up again. I'm super excited, and can't wait to do it again. All right. Couple other things we are going to be, I've let my retailers put the paper designs papers on sale. So you may be seeing some sales for paper designs here pretty soon. I will also have them on sale on TH Decor for about a week. And then we'll be doing some specials kind of throughout the month of February, because we have got to clear some space for spring release, which is right around the corner. And that's all I can say about that. So watch for some sales. We are having the Decoupage Queen retirement party next Friday. And if you haven't been to one of our retirement parties, it's kind of bittersweet, because we say goodbye to some designs that we've loved for a long time in order, again, just to make room for, it's like spring cleaning, you got to make room for some new inspiration. Okay, so thank you, Sue. Appreciate that. Let me clean my desk here. And I did both sides because I am going to stencil on the back. I'm going to decoupage the fronts and I'm going to stencil on the back. So that's why I primed both sides of that one. All right. All right, let's clean this up. Okay. Grab my heat gun. And we will dry these guys. Morning, Anna. Okay. Let's come back. Let's go ahead and get this decoupage down because I need this to start drying. I'm not going to decoupage this whole surface because I don't want to have to fool around with cutting all of this stuff out. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to decoupage this background, and then we're going to paint this another color to sort of coordinate. We'll make some choices here in a minute. But I'm going to go ahead and get this down, and then I'm going to get the paper down for this one as well, so we can start drying before we flip over and do some stencil work on the back. All right, so let's get this guy down. This is that Roberta Marone, and I can't remember what season this was from, but I just love this paper. Such a classic, and it goes with, you know, a surprising amount. Almost every paper that I hold it up next to, it really works well with. So just a surprising amount of papers in our existing collection that this particular one coordinates really well with. So it's like, oh, let's try this one. And then you hold it up and it's like, boom. So I definitely think everybody needs to have this one in their arsenal somewhere, just as a, when you're not sure what else to use, pull it out, and who knows, it might work. But yeah, we're trying to create more and more versatile background papers for y'all. And I did share the spring release with our retailers yesterday. You guys, it's very exciting. That's all I can say, though, or Terry's going to get mad at me. So we won't tell her. We won't even tell her that I mentioned it, you guys. All right. Don't tell her that I mentioned it. All right, so here we go. That looks good. Let me sort of flush that down. I just want to kind of tuck these sides there so I don't have any weirdness in the back. All right, now let's get this one. And let me clean up here. Uh-oh. Did she see it? All right, so let's get this one. And I'm going to use this top section here, you guys. So I'm going to use here. I don't want the bird. I'm going to save the bird for something else. But I want these two roses, even though it's going to be partially obscured. It's going to be partially obscured by my heart. Okay. Let's see. So we'll do this. Do it on the back side so I don't get pencil mark on the front. Okay, that's good. That's good. Dodged a bullet, Sue. All right. I'm about to probably get a text message here going, I told you. All right. Let me get my scissors. She's going to be on Creative Hour later today, you guys. We've got Creative Hour later today. I think it's with Lindy. Lindy Tate is on. She is always so fun to watch. That is happening at 3. This paper here is a beautiful Valentine's paper. It's like a perfect, the colors are perfect. It's got the roses and the little red birds. It is just such a sweet, sweet paper. Perfect for romantic themes. All right, so let's get this one on. All right. All right, there we go. That looks so pretty. Then we're going to put this off to the side. We're going to work on our heart. All right. That looks good. Maybe a little more down here. All right, let's work on our heart. We're going to use glaze paste on our heart. But first, we are going to cover the heart with black gesso. I don't know if you remember me saying last week that the glaze paste generally is going to show up better against a dark background. So we do need to paint this guy dark. We're going to use this Pentart gesso, the black gesso. It goes on a little bit thick. I'm actually going to thin it out just a touch. And for now you have Teresa. Hello, Jill. Okay. All right. So here we go. I'm covering this up with my black gesso. All right. It's such a beautiful impression that it left behind. Anytime you want to add a little bit of extra, you know, if you're just kind of making little cutout pieces from clay, the stamps are such a fun way to add a little bit of texture and dimension to them. And then gives you a raised surface that you can apply waxes to. So it leaves the reverse impression. There's still some raised edges from the reverse, right? So the indentation is what sort of stays colored. But it's really cool and they're fun to work with. So that's how I use stamps. I buy them and I don't use them for paper crafting. I always use them for like textures or kind of using with clay. All right, so I'm not 100% dry yet, so I'm just trying to be kind of careful about where I'm touching. All right, so let me clean this up. That's part of why I don't use them for anything else, is because I don't like cleaning all the ink and stuff after. It's a hassle, isn't it? Okay, let's take a blow dryer. Let's dry this. Hi, Nicole. And while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and apply my blow dryer to these pieces as well. This needs to be really, really, really dry. And it's hard to tell because the clay itself is still a little bit wet. All right, so I'm going to push this off to the side a little bit. Lizzie's driving. Yeah, I think they're going to go. Do some driving today. I have not really let her drive all that much because I'm nervous. I'm thinking white gold here, you guys. So you might have seen me fishing around in my paint basket, and I immediately pulled out the white gold. I think that is going to work for my frame because it's sort of blend. It's like a nice neutral metallic that's going to blend nicely with this piece, and then kind of allow this red on our heart to be the kind of center of attention. So let's try it. If we don't like it, we can change it, but I think white gold, let's give it a shot. And then I'm going to paint white gold on the back as well as the backdrop for, I think that's perfect, you guys, as the backdrop for the stencil. So this is the Pentart Delicate Metallic color, white gold. Beautiful, beautiful color. Which kind of leads me to reconsider, because I was thinking about doing the wax in regular gold, but now that I'm using white gold, maybe we do the wax on the heart in white gold also. Decisions. Lots of choices for Valentine's Day, you guys. Lots of things that can be done for sure. This is going to be my Valentine that I give to my hubby. For his little office. All right. We'll go this way. And this way. Anybody have any fun plans this weekend, you guys? The girls have volleyball later. And then Lizzie has a birthday party to go to. My middle daughter was at a lock-in last night with church. So I got to go pick her up at 7 a.m. this morning. Definitely think white gold was the right choice here. Very soft. Flows very nicely with the background paper we chose. The hard thing about MDF sometimes is to get all the little edges and make it look seamless. So just tilt it in a few different directions and look at it from a variety of angles to make sure you have it evenly covered where you want it. And then we can come back and do even a second coat if we feel like we need to. Now, let's go. Let's go this way. And I'm going to paint the back in the same color. Try to get it on as smooth as I can. Okay. Here we go. All right. Okay. 4 lives. Oh gosh. 4 lives? What? Are you watching them all on everywhere, Sue? Or just in a few places? All right. Okay. All right. Let me, oh, everywhere. Wow. You're committed. I just love you. You're so helpful. All right. I am going to dry. Uh-oh. Okay. We've got a couple places that look like they need a little bit of sanding. Just to kind of smooth them down a little bit. And then we'll do a second coat. I'm probably not quite dry enough, but got a couple of obvious runs here from painting on the other side. And having it drip through. Let's clip these up just a little bit. Dry it a little bit more. This side looks pretty good. I used that thick brush and I was juicy with it. All right. Let's smooth this out a little bit, and then we'll do one more coat. Okay. All right, I'm gonna dry a little bit more and then do another coat. All right, got a couple little spots here. I need to do a little bit more too. Let's see, this one here. All right. All right, let me get a smaller brush again, and we'll go around this guy one more time. Try to do it a little more carefully so we get rid of all of our flaws. Try not to have any obvious drips anywhere. You can't always avoid it with cut pieces like this, but to the extent that we can, we will. Okay. All right, let's dry it. All right, and let me flip it over. Just make sure I've got all these little bumps smoothed out over here. Okay. And down here. Check the other side. No beading. Anything there. Okay, that looks okay. So I'm just going to do one more coat, big coat here on the back there. Just make sure my paint is even. Okay. Okay, that looks okay. So let me, yes, my paintbrush was in my mouth. All right, I'm going to dry. And I can come in, you know, once it's dry later with a really small brush and just hit the edges again. If there's anything I missed. We won't spend too much time on that right now. All right. So that looks pretty good. Okay. Let's go ahead and start working on this side. Get a baby wipe here. Clean this up. Scraper. Okay. So what I want to do is lay, I'll dry it up to put that down. I think so. I want to get my stencil here and I want to kind of figure out some sort of composition that looks pretty. I think that looks pretty good. I'm not going to be able to get all of the roses on there, but if I can get a few of them. Oh, that one looks pretty. I can get both of these like that. I kind of like that. I like this. Yeah, this is DQST0027. I do not remember the name of it, but this is one of Yvette's. and I think it was from fall. We're going to use the khaki to do the leaves. We're just going to use paint for the leaves, and we're going to use paint for the stems, and then we'll use glaze paste for the roses themselves. So we're just going to get a stencil brush, get our trusty Decoupage Queen stencil brushes. There we go. Do I have a smaller one? Let's see. Excuse me. You guys, we still have our Decoupage Queen stencils. I think that'll work. All right. And I want to do the stem in a brown. Maybe we do that one in, yeah, let's do this color just so it's different enough. This one is light brown. So let's do the stem in light brown. And I need a smaller brush. I can't find my tiny stencil. Oh, here's one. Okay. So here's a small, this is a 12. And I'm just going to take and do my stems in this small one. If I butt up against that leaf, it's not a big deal because I'm going to be using green paint on that. Stem here, here, and here. So if you haven't stenciled before, it's like an offloading technique. So I'm not using like juicy wet paint on here. I'm sort of dry brushing it on by dabbing, like tapping off the excess and then dabbing it through the stencil, and then being very careful not to move my stencil around. So let's see, do I have any more stems anywhere? Here's one. Do you guys see any more? I'm not going to do that. All right. And you can repeat it if you feel like you need to. Okay. Thank you. Yes, it's Rose Garden. Avetta designed this one, you guys. She is, you guys, Avetta, I can't say enough about her. She has really, really grown in her stencil designing. And she actually says that she enjoys it more than designing papers, which I can kind of see because she's good at both, but she has really grown in designing her original stencils. All right, so we're going to use this color. This is called, this one is called Khaki, and we're going to use this one for the leaves. Trying not to cover up any of that brown that we just did on. I still have a little bit of brown on my brush, but that's okay. Okay. Just trying to be intentional about the design here and not just put, you know, red stencil paste through it without thinking it through. You know, it's not going to look realistic, okay, because this is a stencil and it's got, but at least it will look like a thoughtful design on the back. And then, let's see, that's a leaf. This I'm going to say is a leaf. Let's see, this one's a leaf and this one. Some of these could go either way. This one's a leaf. Here's a leaf. And here's a leaf. Okay. So again, I'm not going to lift that up. I'm going to take now just a slightly different, softer green. This one, this is called Thorn. Yes, exactly. And that's what I'm doing here. I'm just going to take a little bit of this lighter one. And I'm just kind of, I'm not covering up. I'm just sort of touching randomly. I'm not covering up the whole darker green. I'm just sort of adding a little bit of dimension. And maybe I'll do the same thing with the stem in a lighter brown. So this is a way you can add a little bit more dimension to stencils, is sort of layering some colors with dry brushing. Okay. All right, let's do the same thing with the brown, because why not? Let me clean this off as much as I can. Let's use maybe a falcon brown or something. This, yeah, falcon brown. Okay, so all right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape off. I'm just going to dry real fast, you guys, and then I'm going to tape off the sections that I've painted because I don't want to get any glaze paste over my pretty leaves and stuff that I worked so hard on. So I just want to mask it off a little bit. Okay. Anywhere I need to be at a certain time? Okay. Let's see. I don't have any painter's tape, but you know, this is like a black masking tape. It's pretty strong, so I'm hoping I won't peel up my, I'm not going to smush it down like, you know, really hard. I'm just sort of going to apply it like a mask. So I'm not pressing down because I don't want my paint to lift off when I peel the tape off. So I'm just sort of lightly covering it. Okay, so I got that rose. Hi, Miriam. I have, it'll come over here. Got this one. This one. And this one. Here. And there. And then a little strip here in the middle. I mean, I could probably work around it, you guys, and not get it, but you sort of worked hard to get to this point, you know, and so I just don't want to take the chance because I've only had one cup of coffee and, you know, sometimes when I'm distracted, I'm not as careful as I should be. So, better safe than sorry. This is black masking tape. It's like an artist tape that you use. It's, the purpose of it is for taping cut canvases to a board to paint on. Okay. All right, I think that's good. Let me just All right, so now I don't have to be quite as exacting. I still will be, but all right. So this is red glaze paste, you guys, and you want to put this on kind of thick. Because I'm only going to get one shot at this. I'm not going to be able to really do 2 coats of it. So I do want to put this on pretty thick. So I'm not even like scraping the stencil yet. Okay. Now, the thicker you apply this, the more opaque it will be. And yes, when you look at it, it looks pink. It won't stay pink when it dries though. And there we go. Okay, so let me see if I need to clean anything up, maybe with a little squeegee tool. Just want it as even as possible. I'm touching over it very lightly. I'm not scraping because I still want it kind of thick. And it's gonna start setting up here, so I don't have much time left. I got one little piece here. So just look at it carefully, make your corrections, and then move on. All right, so that's that. And let's carefully see if we can pull this off. I'm a little nervous, but let's see. Okay, I think that looks really, really pretty, you guys. Let's dry. Let's begin drying, but first, before we do that, we're going to work on the heart. This is a beautiful, this red glaze paste is going to create a beautiful red enamel effect. They're going to look like they're like ceramic roses. It's so pretty. Hey, Elizabeth, will you wash my stencil? Peeling all this tape off here before she washes this. Okay. Just take your time, you know, that's all. I mean, that was the trick, is like I didn't try to rush through it. I took my time. And then sort of just did it methodically, right? carefully and methodically. Okay. So, all right, Lizzie, it's ready for you. Now I'm going to take my little pouncer, this guy, and we're going to try to achieve 3 coats here. So I'm going to take my pouncer with my glaze paste. Exactly. You hit the nail on the head for sure. I'm going to take my glaze paste and dip it down in there. And then I'm going to pounce it on my heart. I want a nice even coat on my heart. It's going to take, I'm going to have to do this about 3 times in order for it to turn red. So it's going to take 3 passes. Ask me how I know, because I tested it last night.
How do you know?
I tested it last night. I don't want all that paste down in the grooves. I just want it colored. I don't want it to settle in the groove. So I need it sort of evenly applied. And if I got some down in the grooves, I'm just going to take a brush and kind of wipe it off and clean it. Hey, Mira. I don't want that in the grooves like that. I'm not sure I'm going to have a choice. Because this will also harden the way it dries. So if you're filling the crevices with it, basically you end up smoothing it out and not leaving any dips and crannies behind, you know, so you won't have much to play with when you go to wax it. So I don't really want anything settling too much in the cracks. I'm really just trying to paint it evenly with the glaze paste. And it doesn't look like much, you guys. Again, we did this last week, and remember I said, like, you're going to think you're failing because it doesn't look like much when you do it the first time. But as you do subsequent layers and dry, you'll start to see it come out. So let's dry both pieces at once, and we'll do a few more layers on here. We can't do any more layers here, but we can do 2 more layers here. So see, it's starting to really turn red and glossy, very high enamel. And this one's starting to turn red as well. Glaze paste. This is the red glaze paste, Mara. So for purposes of demonstrating, this is what it looks like. it may dry a little bit more, but this is what it now looks like through a stencil. And I just want to show you all of that gloss. It's very, very glossy enamel type product. We're going to do another pass on this one. I'll show you what this looks like after one pass. You can see the red starting to come out, but it's not enough to fully cover all the black. And again, I did it in thin layers. And remember I said the thicker you put it on, the more opaque it's going to become. Yes,
You want your stencil back or no?
No, I don't need it back at the moment. Thank
Also,
you.
the roses are really cute.
Aren't they pretty? So we're just going to do another pass of this. And dry. And it doesn't take long for it to dry. So, and I think the 3 passes are just like painting something, right? So it's worth a little bit of spending a little bit of effort to achieve a beautiful effect like this, because there's really not, as far as I know, there's not another product that can give you the very unique look that this can. Let me do the sides too while I'm here. Like red metallic paint just wouldn't give this look. Even, you know, chrome powder would be a nice choice. If you had chrome powder, you could try something similar with chrome powder. Oops. But even that is not going to give you the same look. All right, let's try again. That's why I don't think people appreciate the glaze paste enough. So that's why I wanted to spend 2 weeks on it to show you guys some different ways of using it. And again, I think part of it is that, you know, people think, oh, I don't need another stencil paste. But this is different, way different than deluxe paste because of that enamel finish. And then the versatility of being able to achieve a color like this, an effect like this on a plain kind of painted piece, if you will, just makes it all the more versatile. Hi, Carrie. All right, I'm going to bring this up to the camera and show you after round 2. I don't know if all of that beautiful glittery enamel is coming through, but it is really starting to develop. Okay, so let's do one more pass. I need to dry a little bit more before I do another one. This was supposed to be a simple project done in an hour. That is not what happened, y'all. All right, so let's do one more. Oh, got some goop in there I don't want. I'm just using a little sponge dauber. That's the best tool. A paintbrush probably is not going to cut it because the paintbrush is going to kind of be too strokey and it's going to want to settle down in your grooves too much. So a little sponge, you could even use a little kitchen sponge and just cut it. Little sponge is perfect. All right, and then let's try to go around the edge one more time. Takes one, I don't know. Tina, I don't know. If you find one, let me know. We were pretty close to an hour last week, I think. I try to keep them simple. I mean, this is simple. It's just a lot of steps, you know. All right, so that's probably going to do the trick. Let me close this up and we'll dry it. Okay, so here we have it, you guys. It's still a little bit sticky. I got an awful lot of layers on there, but here you have it. This is this beautiful red enameled textured heart. That's going to go right on this piece here. I'm not gluing everything down quite yet, but I just want to sort of show you. So that's going to go here. And then this is going to go right here. And then I might take like a little ribbon or put some keys and ribbon or something on here. I may even do like a little border either around the heart or around here. There's still some things that I could do. Let me get my white gold wax and let's do that. It says chameleon. I think this is my white gold. So we'll get my white gold wax. And I could put like a crown mold on top. So I still may do, you know, I'm still going to, I don't think it's finished, but I'm finished for right now. I still may do some things though. I'm going to test this out. I don't know if for sure if this is white gold. Test it on something. Yeah, it is. Okay. Just wanted to make sure I wasn't about to put green down on my heart. So this is the white gold chameleon wax paste. And I'm going to go ahead and start applying it to my heart. And you start to see some of the texture of that stamp coming through. I'm not going like super heavy, just enough to where you start to get a hint of the texture. I love it because it looks, it's very dimensional, very textured, and you know, it does look kind of aged without us having really done any aging to it. I think it's because of that black underneath and just the imperfection of the clay itself. And the stamping work, you know, definitely a very unique, here, I'll just pick this piece up, unique looking piece. So yeah, so here's my heart, and it's like the camera just isn't doing it justice, you guys, because there's so much mica sparkle in there that is difficult to see on the camera. But anyway, that is my heart project. I think it does need some sort of maybe pearl. I think somebody said pearl. It does need something else behind it to sort of break up these two reds. So I'm going to play around with that. I may put a little border mold or something around this edge or somewhere, but I'm going to keep playing with it, you guys. It's not done, but the important things are done. You know, this part and then this part, and this will be a super fun Valentine for my husband. So thank you guys for joining me. Enjoy the rest of your day. We did it. We did another project workshop, you guys. So appreciate you spending the time with me. And I hope you have Mara, you're going to get in trouble. All right. Y'all take care. Have a great one. All right. Bye-bye.